So let's talk about Jamaica.
Right.
I mean, it's a country that, it punches so far above its weight class on the global stage. The cultural influence is just everywhere.
Absolutely. The brand is instantly recognizable. You've got these deep economic ties, the diaspora. It's a global force.
But here's the paradox, and it's a strange one.
Mm.
For all that power, all that visibility, Jamaica is almost invisible in this one digital space that has become, well, fundamental.
Google Street View.
Google Street View, exactly. I mean, think about it. You can virtually walk down a tiny side street in Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at the pavement cracks in some quiet London suburb. But if you want to see the streets of Kingston or Mobay,
You hit a digital wall. It's just a blank.
it's a blank. And this whole issue has really, come to a head recently.
Yeah, because of these unofficial uploads, you have local enthusiasts, people on the ground just capturing images and sharing them.
And they went viral, right? Especially within the diaspora.
Oh, instantly.
Yeah.
There was this huge wave of nostalgia, gratitude even.
But that excitement, it turned pretty quickly into a question.
A very uncomfortable question, which is why? In this day and age, how is a nation this significant still missing from what is, let's be honest, a crucial piece of global infrastructure?
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We've been looking at the material that argues Street View isn't a novelty anymore. It's not a fun little feature.
No, it's essential. It's a utility.
And we're going to unpack the real costs of this digital blind spot, the economic, the logistical, and, the emotional costs for everyone involved.
From a home buyer in Toronto to a real estate agent in St. Catherine.
Okay, let's unpack this. And I think we have to start with the money.
It always comes back to the money.
It does. I mean, look at how the world actually uses Street View now. It's foundational, really.
It is. It underpins, what, 4 critical areas of just modern commerce.
Right. You've got property searches, first and foremost, then business discovery for local shops.
Tourism planning, safety research.
And then the big one, urban navigation and major investment decisions. If you don't have it, you are missing a core piece of the modern toolkit.
And that absence, it creates a really quantifiable handicap for Jamaica, especially in the real estate market.
Talk about that. What does that handicap look like?
Well, we're living in an age of what you could call remote decision-making.
Okay.
So if you're a buyer, say you're in Toronto or Miami, and you're looking to buy property in Jamaica, 90% of your initial research is happening thousands of miles away.
Right, from your laptop.
And you're not just looking at Jamaica, you're comparing it to other global opportunities that do offer that street-level access.
That's the problem, isn't it? If a competing market, I don't know, Barbados or parts of Mexico, gives you a full 360-degree virtual tour,
Mm-hmm.
and Jamaica offers maybe 3 fuzzy photos and an appraisal from 2018, it's an unfair disadvantage.
It's a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
The buyer is basically forced to operate on faith.
On faith and speculation.
Exactly. And without that standardized visual verification, the investment pool just shrinks. It has to. And it's not just the buyer. It's the local agent trying to market a property internationally. It stalls everything.
We've talked about this idea of visual trust. I think we need to break that down. What does that actually mean? It's not just seeing if the roof is okay.
No, it's the context. It's the entire environment. Think about the risk you're trying to mitigate as a buyer. You need to understand the quality of the immediate surroundings.
You want to know, what? Is the road paved?
Is the road paved or is it full of ruts? Are the houses next door well maintained or has that vacant lot become, a dumping ground?
Is the school entrance safe? Can you even see it?
Precisely. That immediate visual confirmation of the neighborhood's reality, that's the core of visual trust. And it's the information that's so often filtered out of the official real estate photos.
So without that tool, the whole market gets pushed back into these old, inefficient methods?
Very expensive methods.
Right. You're relying on word of mouth. Or you have one realtor you hope you can trust.
Or you have to get on a plane. And for most people just starting their search, an in-person visit is it's impossible. It's a non-starter.
But doesn't this create winners and losers on the island itself? If you're a big developer with all the right connections, you can probably work around this.
That's what's so fascinating here. The material shows that this invisibility, it disproportionately hurts specific groups.
Like who?
Well, first-time buyers, for one. People who don't have family on the ground to go and check out a place for them.
Okay.
It's really tough for returning residents,
Mm.
people who haven't been back in 20 or 30 years and need to see how areas have changed.
And the small guys, I'm guessing.
Critically, it limits the growth of small developers and independent real estate agents. They rely on these public standardized tools to compete. Street View isn't about replacing the local expert.
No.
It's about empowering the consumer and the smaller agent. It fundamentally levels the playing field.
That makes the economic case just crystal clear.
It's a strong one.
But then the conversation shifts, and I think this part is just as powerful. It shifts to the human element. For Jamaicans abroad, this is about belonging. It's about cultural memory.
It's not just a logistics tool for them.
Not at all. It's a psychological lifeline.
Exactly. And you see that when you look at the feedback online. The comments aren't about, where's a good restaurant? They are profoundly emotional.
There was that one quote that was circulating everywhere.
The one that said, I grew up in Jamaica and unfortunately have not been able to be back in over 10 years.
Traveling through Street View has been incredibly nostalgic.
And that sounds simple, but you have to think about what that means. That's someone reconnecting with the street where they played football as a kid.
Yeah, the corner store they walk to every day.
The gate of their grandmother's house. I mean, this is essential stuff for the diaspora community. When you live that far away, maintaining that sense of continuity, even virtually, it's critical for your identity.
That's a really beautiful point, because we often just talk about the diaspora in terms of remittances, the money they send back.
Right.
But this highlights the emotional investment that comes before any of that.
Absolutely. And this is where the emotional directly drives the economic. That feeling, that nostalgia, it rarely just stays sentimental. It's the catalyst.
It's what makes you act.
It's what precedes the tangible economic action.
Yeah.
That yearning to reconnect is what finally pushes someone in the diaspora to buy that piece of land or plan for a retirement home, or even just look up and support the local businesses in their old neighborhood.
The ability to virtually walk those streets again reinforces that commitment.
It strengthens their desire to invest in the country's future.
It's the memory that sparks the investment.
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we move from this emotional need, this desire to connect, to the actual technical reality on the ground.
Right.
Because the sources make it very clear. Jamaica is not just passively waiting around for someone to solve this.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There is significant local innovation happening right now.
We know that teams at the University of the West Indies, specifically the Mona Geoinformatics Lab, they're already doing really sophisticated work.
Oh yeah, local mapping, geospatial data analysis, navigation tools, the technical capacity and the intellectual appetite, it's already there on the island.
The local effort is impressive.
It is, and it's essential for local needs like urban planning or resource management. But those efforts run into a wall.
What's the wall?
The wall is global integration and scale, meaning a local GIS map is incredibly useful for a government agency, but it doesn't solve the problem for that buyer in Japan or the tourist planning a trip from Germany.
They're not using that local map.
They're using Google. What's missing is the platform, the reach, the standardization, and frankly, the inherent trust that comes from being on a platform used by billions of people.
I see. So the talent is there, the data is there, but the global distribution channel is the bottleneck.
That's the missing link.
But we should address the big counter argument here, because there is this understandable concern floating around.
The let's wait argument.
Yeah, the idea that Jamaica should hold off on full Street View coverage until, cities like Kingston get a full infrastructure overhaul. The worry is that you're exposing imperfections.
And that concern, it comes from a place of pride, which is totally valid. But the analysis really frames it as a flawed concern.
Flawed how?
Because the argument against waiting is that visibility isn't a reward for being perfect. Visibility is a tool for getting better.
Okay, so it's not a consequence, it's a driver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You look at other developing economies that got Street View early. Its presence actively improved things. It highlights the areas that need upgrades. It increases accountability for local government to actually fix the roads.
It encourages targeted regeneration because you can't deny the problems anymore. They're right there for everyone to see.
So the idea that sunlight is the best disinfectant, you're not hiding the potholes from the people who live there.
No, they know they're there.
You're just hiding them from the people who might be able to invest in fixing them. Waiting for perfection before you allow visibility. You risk permanent delay.
It's counterproductive.
Completely.
Right.
You have to show the lived reality, worse than all, because that's the only foundation for serious planning and investment.
Okay, let's pull back then and look at the broader economy, beyond just real estate. Tourism is a vital pillar for Jamaica. How does this digital absence affect that?
Modern tourism is overwhelmingly visual. People don't just look at glossy resort photos anymore.
No, you want to see what's outside the gates.
Before they even book a flight, they are using these tools to research routes, to assess the walkability of a neighborhood, to see if the path from the hotel to the local craft market feels safe and accessible.
And if they're deciding between two places and one lets you do that virtual walk?
And the other is just a gray box on a map, the choice is easy. Jamaica loses out on all that crucial prep work that drives bookings.
And what about the small businesses? The ones that rely on foot traffic? The local jerk stand or the little independent shop?
It's huge for them. Street view dramatically increases their discoverability and their visibility. It builds a layer of trust with the potential visitor before they even get on the plane.
So it changes the perception.
It completely modernizes the global perception. It
Yeah.
moves Jamaica from being just brochure imagery, that perfect curated shot of the beach,
Right.
to the lived reality of its vibrant streets and communities. It's a massive step towards showing the world it's a sophisticated, integrated modern economy.
So what does this all mean when you put all these pieces together? What's the final picture?
The final picture is one of overwhelming demand.
It seems to come from every angle. The sources synthesize it so well. Buyers want the visual proof. Sellers need it for an efficient market.
Realtors rely on it for context. The diaspora desperately misses that connection.
And the local technologists have already proven they can handle the data. The capacity is there.
Which is why the core request, the one that's basically an open letter to the tech giants, is so specific. It's not just come at us.
It's a partnership.
It's a partnership. Roll out official, standardized coverage, both urban and rural, and crucially, partner with those local institutions like Mona Geoinformatics to make sure it's done ethically, with privacy in mind, and that it's sustainable.
The message doesn't come discover us.
No, the fundamental message is that Jamaica is asking to be included as a full, visible participant in the global digital commons that already exists.
That distinction, inclusion versus discovery, that feels absolutely crucial.
It is.
And we have to remember that visibility has never been a reward for having a flawless city. It's always been a tool, a dynamic tool for progress.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. If a country like Jamaica, with its huge cultural dominance and global economic influence, is suffering from this kind of digital blindness, what other culturally significant nations out there might also be invisible on the map? And how does that exclusion, that lack of representation in this digital commons, how does that silently affect their economic future and their connection to their own people scattered all around the world?
Something to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for listening.